Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about what I consider to be the darkest animation ever made by Disney, Mickey and the Mad Doctor. This short was released in 1933 and was so dark that multiple theaters in the US refused to show it because it was too scary for kids. On top of that, there were multiple countries such as Germany and the UK that outright banned the short. So if you didn't know about the short beforehand, I think I caught your attention with those facts. You're probably wondering, what was so dark that this short received such harsh censorship? Remember that Mickey Mouse Steamboat Willie review where I said Mickey's origins were pretty dark? Yeah, trust me, Steamboat Willie has nothing on this one. So without further ado, let's get right into Mickey and the Mad Doctor. The animation opens on a dark and stormy night. Mickey is sleeping in his bed when all of a sudden he hears a crash and frantic yelps from his dog Pluto. A figure resembling the Grim Reaper can be seen aggressively dragging Pluto away as he desperately tries to get free. Mickey runs after his dog and follows the stranger's footprints to a creepy castle on a cliff. Mickey crosses a bridge that falls apart and then is taken inside the castle through the mouth of the door knocker. Some knives casually fall next to Mickey's head, almost killing him. And before I talk any more about the story, let me just say that the tone or overall feel of this animation is much more dark and depressing than practically all of Mickey's cartoons. The world just feels evil and desolate, and there is a constant feeling of hopelessness throughout the short. Anyways, we can see Pluto fighting for his life to no avail as the hooded figure grabs him and takes him further into the lair. We then get this really cool tracking shot where the animators actually drew the background for every frame so that it would move along with Mickey, giving it this very unique and at the time very difficult to achieve effect of camera tracking, including this rotation at the end. Just some magnificent animation here, and overall this short, just like most of Disney's old cartoons, boasts extremely fluid and detailed animation. After falling out of the tunnel, Mickey finds himself in a dark room lit by only a fireplace and appears to be surrounded by demons, although they just end up being shadows. A spark from the fire sends him deeper into the room where a skeleton messes with Mickey for a bit before trying to get him. Mickey escapes and makes his way into the next room, where more skeletons appear, frightening him to find a different way to Pluto. The skeletons are comic relief for the most part in this cartoon, but are still a constant reminder of the death associated with this place, as we're going to find out in this cartoon soon enough. We cut to the hooded figure strapping Pluto to a wall and putting an X-ray on his chest, exposing his bones and heart. The figure removes his cloak to reveal his identity, Dr. XXX, or also known as the Mad Doctor. The Doctor's plan is to, before I say it, remember that this cartoon was made by Disney, the same company that made stuff like this.
Hi everybody, it's me, Mickey Mouse. Say, you want to come inside my clubhouse?
So his plan, y'all ready for this, is to cut off Pluto's head, cut off the head of a chicken, and then surgically attach Pluto's head to the chicken's body and see what kind of egg it hatches. You heard me correctly. The Mad Doctor intends to decapitate a dog and a chicken and make a scientific abomination of a creature on a Mickey Mouse cartoon. Let that sink in. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is so dark that it is straight up PG-13 material at least. And that's just the center for the plot of a Mickey Mouse cartoon. What was Walt Disney thinking when he made this? This is way darker than anything he had put Mickey through before, and it just comes out of nowhere. It almost seems to be dark just for the sake of being shocking and dark. Anyways, Mickey hears Pluto's horrified howls and runs into more skeletons who try to get him, but he outmaneuvers them all. Then, out of nowhere, a giant skeleton spider pulls Mickey up into its web and tries to get him, trapping him temporarily before Mickey escapes and defeats the spider. Back in the lab, it seems that all the preparations are ready, as the Doctor toys with Pluto, who helplessly lets out his last desperate cries, waiting for Mickey to save him. Mickey follows the sound to a doorway with a bunch of doors, before coming to a locked one. Determined to save his dog, Mickey charges to break in the door, but it opens and Mickey falls onto a table and is strapped in. The Mad Doctor comes into the room and turns on a contraption that activates a giant buzzsaw in the roof. The buzzsaw comes down towards Mickey and he struggles to break free, crying out for Pluto. Let me just say that at this point, we can no longer hear Pluto's howls, suggesting that the Doctor has already decapitated him off screen, seeing as the last scene we see Pluto in is this one right here, where Dr. XXX has a giant pair of scissors and has Pluto tied up. So yeah, with his dog dead, Mickey tries his best to avoid the buzzsaw, but it inevitably gets closer and closer to his body, and is about ready to cut him in half when the scene fades and we see that this is all just a dream in Mickey's head. A fly lands where the buzzsaw was about to cut Mickey, waking him up and leading to him frantically calling for Pluto. Pluto jumps through the window and the short ends on a happy note. That's good, because if this all hadn't been a dream, I seriously doubt that many theaters would have been happy to show a cartoon that ended with an innocent dog getting murdered or at least turned into an abomination of nature, while Mickey dies a graphic death at the hands of a buzzsaw. Regardless, even with it all being a dream, this was drastically darker than anything Disney had made at the time, and is still darker than practically anything else they have made since. The creepy black and white animation only adds to the unsettling nature of this short, and truly helps make it one of the more memorable Mickey Mouse cartoons ever. This short was the debut of Dr. XXX, who would later go on to make a few more appearances in other Disney media, such as the video game Epic Mickey. In trying to ponder how this animation, which would never debut today, was given the thumbs up by Disney, we have to consider the context. Although rising in popularity, Disney was not nearly as big or widespread as it is today. So it did not have a scrutinizing eye of a profit-hungry executive limiting what kind of content the animators could get away with. It was also the early 1930s, and the novelty of animation was still relatively new, which meant that adults also wanted to watch cartoons, not just kids. So cartoons back then tended to have plenty of adult themes in them.
Well, here's Seaman Tarfu. He'll help us with our little demonstration.
Taking those things into account, we can see how the animation landscape back then allowed for Mickey Mouse to be in dark animations such as this. That doesn't mean that there was no backlash, however. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, the short was so dark that both Germany and the UK banned it altogether, which is something that I never thought I would hear. A Disney animation being banned for being too dark. There were even several theaters in the US that wouldn't play it, as I mentioned earlier. So it's not like everyone just turned a blind eye to the dark subject matter of this short. Me personally though, I love dark animations like this. And not even looking at all the dark material in the cartoon, its animation is still stunning, just like almost all of Disney's early works are. Anyways, Mickey and the Mad Doctor was a pioneer for Disney in terms of putting their main mascot in dark and dangerous situations and dealing with controversial subject matter. And although it was banned in several countries, it still had a big impact on the animation landscape back in the day. With all things considered, I think you can agree with me that this is at least one of the darkest animations ever produced by Disney. And if you guys like the video, then leave a like and consider subscribing. That's it for me. I'll see you all on the next one. Have a great day.